The Andrew Lake Podcast.
Now in collaboration with Acid Quote Tees.
Feel the rhythm now. All connected.
Oh, baby, baby, baby. Oh, baby, baby, baby. Oh, yes, baby, baby. Welcome back to the Andrew Lake Podcast, coming on at ya. It is the acid quote of the day. Work is as work does. I've got a bit of a poem I might share with you coming up a bit later on. If we have time, we'll see if we get to it, as times are allotted to each of us in our own way. Hope that's not too eccentric. Actually, you know what? I'm not apologizing. I'm actually, more sincerely, hoping you're having a beautiful morning, a beautiful rise and shine. Anytime, anywhere is the time to rise and shine in this big blue world that we call home. I remember when I was with a previous girlfriend one time. Well, I don't know if she was a girlfriend. I mean, do I have to explain who is a girlfriend and who is a special friend? I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to make myself feel special, right? I'm just trying to puff myself up. But I mean, like, for me, in my world, a special friend is as much good a girlfriend as a girlfriend, right? For me, whenever there's a connection, that person is... Well, I mean, I call anyone my girlfriend at the drop of a hat, right? If we just hold hands, then I'd be happy to call you my girlfriend if you're the right person. And I mean, I don't even have that many real friends at the moment. It's funny that I only have, if I really think about it, I only have one friend in Australia. It's like I have this one friend who is my best friend, and this best friend is my only friend. Right? So how is my best friend my only friend? And of course, if that person was my special friend, then they would be more significant than my best friend, right? Special friend is better than a best friend. So the best isn't even the best. But anyway, look, why am I talking about this? I don't know if I should be explaining this. This is just filling the air. What are we talking about? Special friend. We'd done some low dose LSD. Nothing serious. And we turned up to our usual cafe, which we'd been to many times before and we very much enjoyed. And I was trying to eat this piece of cake with a fork. And as I was trying to get the piece of cake on the fork, and it just wasn't quite going on. It was sort of struggling. And she goes, come on, you can do it. And in a second, I asked her, are you talking to me or the cake? And of course, we both just burst out laughing. I guess it's just one of those things. I mean, are these stories too solipsistic? Are they too much like you have to be there to get them? I don't know. I mean, every story is personal. Every story in my life is personal. And I mean, this quote of the day, work is as work does. Well, it is personal, but I mean, anything that's universal, the things that are truly universal, are deeply, intimately personal. That's the fact of our humanity. That's the fact of how we all come from the same fabric and we all have the same experiences in a way that is absolutely unique. So if you want to get this quote, work is as work does. I mean, work, what can we say about work? Work, I find, is a matter of germinating. Some things happen in a way that is organic and flowing if you're in the right place, if you've got the right mindset, if you've got the right attitude and understanding and resources, and things are working in your favor. Now, sometimes we get this wrong and we think we just need the right mindset, or we just need to have the resources, or we just need to be in the right place, and it's only one out of many factors. And sometimes we have a factor that is absolutely wrong. When you're in the wrong place, it is impossible to get any work done. Certain things just do not work in certain places. There's no nutrients. There's no topsoil. There's no regular weathering patterns to allow for your flowers to bloom. And work, well, work is such a big part of our life. It is part of trying to achieve something, trying to make a way, trying to get into, well, what life is. Life is work in so many ways. I remember my friend asked me once, do you work to live or do you live to work? And it's a really interesting question. I don't have a way of answering that clearly. I guess it's one of those questions that we review again and again. And work can be tiresome. Work can be meaningless. Work can be productive or unproductive. Work can be exhausting. Work can be thrilling, exhilarating, enlivening, energizing. Work can be manipulative. It can be self-centered. It can be, well, I mean, it could be so many things. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say in this quote. Like, that's why this acid quote comes out like this, which is that work is as work does. Almost like life is what you make it. Or a smaller step down from that would be work is what you make it. And I've met business owners and employees and people who have worked in all sorts of economic situations. And I've seen every corner of the spectrum. I've known people that have owned their own business, worked for themselves, and ended up resenting it because they wished they could be an employee just getting a wager, because at least the wager would be steady. And I've met employees who wish they could have their own business and work on their own business. And if you look at a lot of the people who do have big startups, or even small startups, small businesses, and you ask how they start, a lot of the time they got a leg up. They got a foot in the door. There was someone backing them. There was someone helping them. Or there was just a straight up loan. Sam Prince, who is the founder of Zambrero, which is a company I actually used to work for. It's, I should sort of say a little bit about that. Zambrero is a chain of fast food restaurants making Mexican food, selling burritos, tacos, nachos, these sort of things, but with an Australian twist. So it's sort of a mix between Mexican but in an Australian style, because it is an Australian fast food chain. And it was founded by Sam Prince, right? He started this up just casually as he was doing medical school, some people. And he started it up with $1 million loan, which someone gave to him, as I understand it, after simply having a conversation with him and talking with him and coming to understand his vision. Now, of course, he is a visionary. He is an entrepreneur and he does have skills. He's got his intelligence and he's got his work that he's done leading up to that moment. So it's not entirely out of nowhere, but that first foot in the door, that $1 million, that is a big step. That is a lot for someone to have as a beginning business. And now you look at Zambrero and it's got over 180 stores, and Sam Prince has a net worth of $1.2 billion. So we are all on different paths and we are all on different ways to make our way through life. I don't know if I would even know what to do if I got given $1 million or how I could promote acid quote teas. I don't even know if I would call this my main shtick. I don't know if I should get too much into that. That's a sidetrack. That's a science track. So what am I saying? I mean, work is as work does. It's something that we contend with again and again as we evolve and as our circumstances change, as we learn new skills, as we take new life directions. So I do want to promote this quote. I do want to promote this Acid Quote Tees merchandise. That is my store. That is my creation, as all these quotes are. And beyond all that, I do also want to give a very special mention to a friend of mine who has written a book, which is a collection of poems. And this is related to Work Is as Work Does, because she's someone who has her work and then does her creative things on the side, like me. Except I don't know if I actually have my work, but we'll leave that out of it for now. I shouldn't keep bringing this up. I know it's not something I should keep bringing up, but this person, her name is Veda, and she's written this new audiobook, also this ebook, which I will link to in the show notes. And she's shared a particular poem. I'll share a particular poem which she says she's dedicated to me, or at least partly inspired by me. So that's very nice of her to do that. And it is inspiring for her to be actually making her creations and to be putting it out there. So I don't mean to promote too much stuff. I usually just try and keep this podcast as Acid Quote Tees, and we'll keep it at that for the most of the time. But this is something special. This is really a project that doesn't come along every now and then. So let me find this poem which Veda has written and shared, and this is one of her poems in this book. Her other name is Mahua Sengupta. So if you're looking for it, you'll see her either under the name Mahua or Veda, Veda being her sannyasin name. And I actually met her when we were in India. So here is the poem, and it's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and I'll link to it. It's called The Muses of Veda, Collection of Poetries. And here's one that I'd like to share with you now. The light in your listening. You listen. You listen to presence itself, to what is here, to what is now. You listen intently to the heartbeats, the unrest, to the unspoken words, the clench of a jaw. You hear the weight of hunched shoulders, the quiet avoidance in fleeting eyes. You notice the rubbing of palms, a gesture of fear, a search for safety. And in your listening, there is comfort, a love as pure as the moment it holds. I know it will change, as all moments do. It will transform as seasons renew. But in your listening, I saw my light, a reflection of me, burning bright. So that I take as a reminder of how important our own personal creative projects are. And it is very much important to remember that these little creative projects are a kind of work. They are a labour of love. They are something that we have to be able to do, despite of them maybe not being able to have any much larger significance or any much larger success at all. And of course it does touch me to read this poem and to hear these stories from Veda, and I would like to thank her very much, very sincerely, and I do honour my connection with her. It's a personal connection. So, thank you, Veda, for your work. And it is
an irony that so many things in this, well, I don't know about irony. I mean, it's almost a travesty that these small things, these things that don't get this big splash around them, this noise, this sensationalism. Yeah, there's nothing sensational about all this. There's nothing fantastical. It's not over the top. It's not mainstream stuff. It's intimate. It's personal. It's close to home. And it is a travesty that these things don't find more success. I often wonder why, and we wonder how, because they are such beautiful words and they are such beautiful projects. And I mean, Veda's poetry and whatever else we are working on here. I mean, I include what we're working on here with this conversation. Yeah, this is also included in this, but it's a work that pays more in its significance of meaning. And it does that by being delicate. It does that by being sensitive. And if you just think of a flower isn't around all year round. A flower only happens during certain seasons. And you could say, well, you could argue, does a tree grow roots and a trunk and leaves and all of that just so that it can grow the flower? Or is the roots and the trunk and the leaves just as much a part of the beauty of a tree? And that's a true inquiry. That's a good question. Well, we must recognize flowers when we see them. And so much of what we're caught up with in work that pays money, with work that is involved in corporations, in management, in human resources, in digital work, so much of that is more like a rock. It's more crude. Yes, it's more likely to get a paycheck, but it's far more removed from love and sensitivity. And sometimes we do have to endure it, yeah? Sometimes work is something that we endure just because we want to be able to have those side projects. We want to be able to do those little things, those meaningful things. So I'm sure it means a lot to Veda for her to release these poems, to release this collection. And of course it means a lot to me to share this podcast with you and this conversation with you and to point out these ideas, to share these eccentric stories and to simply, well, spread the good vibes. To say, I hope you're having a good day. Yeah? To say, keep on smiling. To say, maybe work isn't quite what you think it is. Work isn't quite how it should be. And maybe it could be better. And yet for today, for now, we can keep on smiling. We can pick you up and have a go at just feeling the love. Feeling everything that is going so on. And I just laugh so much. I don't know why. But I have just got to laugh at how beautiful everything is going on. So thank you very much. Hope you're having a beautiful day. And we'll be back very soon with more. Keep on smiling. Keep yourself rising. It's a beautiful day. See ya.